Hi everyone, it's Psychic Swan. I'm a numerologist and a tarot reader, and today we will work out your personal year for the year 2025 together. This is important because when you work with the energies of the year, you get the best results out of that year. You get more luck. The year can play out more positively for you because you know what you need to do, what you need to avoid, and as I said before, the theme of the year, so what you need to focus on. It's a bit like planting the right seeds at the right time of year, and then also getting the harvest that you know will definitely be optimal for that time, and thus you're left with something. Whereas if you focus on something completely different, or you don't know what you need to avoid, then you risk for the year to play out really badly for you, and you're left with nothing. And instead, you had many problems in the year, and so it's only a negative result. So let's get straight into it. To work out your personal year number, you need to take the day of your birth, then add the month of your birth to the day, and also add the number 9. So for example, if you're born on the 19th of March, you take 19, add 3, and then add 9. And whatever your result is, make sure that is also a single digit. So in this case, the result is 31. And so you just need to add 3 plus 1, and you have your single digit, which is a 4. The timestamps will be in the description. If you got number 1, then this year is a renewal year. Expect a lot of new things in all spheres of life. New job, new house, new people, new opportunities. This is all positive. And you need to try and renew yourself as much as possible. So your task is to say yes to as many things as possible, to not be afraid into going into that new place, that new job, meeting new people. And the other thing that you need to focus on is time management and organizing yourself. And make sure that any new things, any new starts are planned in all spheres of life. So you need to make sure that your renewal is in all areas of life, because that way you'll have a balance, and that will then start to play out in the next coming years. So this is a really important time of planting seeds, and you want to make sure that the seeds are distributed evenly, and of course you want to make the most out of this potent time and improve all areas of your life. Now, what to avoid? In this cycle, you may be in your ego a lot. Your ego may flare up. You may have this arrogance about you in, let's say, knowing more than others or thinking that you're better than others. And that is something that you need to avoid. So pride is not your best friend. And the way to mitigate that is to help as many people as possible, especially those in need, especially those that, yeah, they might know less than you, but you as a leader will help them to get to the next level. And that is a really great practice for lowering your ego, for dimming it down, and instead actually using your knowledge, your power for something really useful. And this is a great year for improving your relationships with any siblings. So if you have any siblings and you're in a conflict, or you don't really have a good relationship, then make sure that you make amends. Even if you have a good relationship, just be mindful that this is not the time where you need to be arguing. Try and mitigate that as much as possible. So there are negative aspects that could happen in the year, but of course our job is to try and work on ourselves as much as possible. And I'm giving you a tool and a method to follow, like this blueprint, to know what you need to do. If you got to number 2, then this is all about partnership. This is about socializing and nurturing your network. For women, this could also be a time when you become pregnant or you become a mom, and this could be a time for marriage. So, in this year, there's a big focus on relationships. You want to try and nurture and save your relationships as much as possible. So, if there are any conflicts that arise with anybody, partner, family, co workers, you need to be able to resolve any issues in a calm manner. And that would give you so much luck, because when you fail to do that, then you're going to attract even more problems in your relationships. Another thing that could come up is a lot of problems in your family. But as I said, this is the time to focus on that. Try not to split up and make rash decisions. Try and resolve things as much as possible until you realize that there is nothing to save, or that a relationship is super toxic and it's not worth it. If your number is a 3, then this number is all about self expression and expansion. This is also a number of motherhood. So, in the second cycle, you may have become pregnant, and in the third cycle, you finally give birth. And what you need to focus on is putting yourself out there. So, any sort of performances, any sort of talks you give, any social media posts will be very successful. And 3 is also about starting to see what you had planted earlier growing. So, as I said, it's about expansion, it's about seeing your efforts multiply, and this is a great time to focus on that growth. So, whether it's social media expansion, whether it's adding new members to your company, to your team, you really need to focus on going to the next level. So, anything that you do that requires or includes rather the media and growth will go down well. If you have been thinking of starting social media, blogging, YouTube, then this is absolutely the year that you need to start. Of course, the earlier the better, but trust me, this will pay off, and you're very likely to see results quite fast. Even if it's not straight away, it might be during the end of the year, later on in the year. As for the negatives, you may face conflict with children or your mum, so motherhood hardships could come up. It's really important to not get too emotional and to control your emotions, and of course try to resolve these conflicts as much as possible. All in all, the year could be very emotional. You can have these big fluctuations, big worries, anxieties, flashes of anger, and it's really important to stay in balance. So the more that you control your emotions, the more harmony you will invite, and the more lucky this year will play out for you. If you got the number 4, then this number is all about hard work, building yourself a solid long-term foundation. This is a good year for acquiring a home, buying a house if you haven't already, or it's about being really disciplined in your work. And as I said, building yourself that solid foundation, making sure that you invest not only your money, but also your time, your effort for the long term. However, it's really important to not overwork yourself and find a balance between having that relaxation time and having that hard work. You will do yourself so much good if you focus on nourishing your body, things like massage, spa, and looking after your health. And actually, I'll give you a secret insight. The more that you focus on nourishing your body and your health in this year, the more money you will invite. Because when you replenish your energy is what drives this new influx of money. If you succeed in having that balance and you put in the work, then expect this year to be very successful for big deals, for making money, for improving and growing your business or starting a successful business. If your year number is a 5, then this number is all about transformation and change. It's a very adventurous year, and so you need to make sure that you incorporate as much exciting new things as possible. So travel, new people, new interests, new classes. Try to take yourself to new places, and most importantly, this is perfect for learning, for getting new knowledge. And by learning and having all of these new exciting things, you attract more luck and abundance. I'm sure this change and exciting new life will be much appreciated after your previous year, which would have been the number 4, which is all about stability, discipline, hard work. But now you can finally let yourself experience new things and add more excitement in your life. Really important to not stay in one place, really important to not just do the same old thing in every area of your life that you have been doing, because you're really missing out on this new, fresh wave and positive transformation that awaits for you in this year. If your year is a 6 year, then this is all about self-love and having boundaries. There is a focus on relationships, specifically the more intimate, romantic and family relationships. And the key here is to build your self-boundaries. And these are always built on self-love. And of course, it's important to love yourself and accept yourself, because that will really be mirrored in your relationships. So if you don't accept and love yourself, then it's very possible that that is how other people will treat you, because we tell other people, even on a subconscious level, how we need to be treated. So make sure that you raise your self-worth if you've been struggling, and make sure that you have clear boundaries, because in this year you can expect a lot of other people from all different areas, not just your family, to really test your boundaries and to, request things, ask for things, or not respect your personal time or boundaries. And so this is something that will really test you, and you need to make sure that you don't lose yourself in your relationships, and that you have your strong foundation and that self-confidence. Whilst it's important to nurture your relationships, it's also important to not be too selfless to those that you love. So have that balance. This is a great time for making positive changes to your appearance. I mean, more things like working out, investing in your style. Maybe you want to change your style, or really think about how you go about improving your style. So if you want to, have this glow up and this makeover, this will be a great year for doing so. If your personal year number is a 7, then this year is great for travel and great for moving. So if this has been on your list for a long time, then this year is absolutely the time to do it, and it will go well. The other thing number 7 stands for is this spiritual transformation and also this completion. So it's a great year for focusing on your inner growth, perhaps some useful practices. It doesn't have to be super spiritual and esoteric if you don't want it to be, but it could be simple things, psychological things like journaling, meditation, or perhaps you do want to try yoga. Things to avoid are conflicts, and unfortunately the number 7 is a very aggressive number and is the number of war and conflict. The other thing to focus on with a number 7 is self-development. So it's quite similar to the number 5 and 4 in that you constantly need to be moving, you need to be growing, you need to be heading somewhere. And if you fail to do so, then you may actually face health problems, you may face mental health problems like depression. Another way that you can find balance and good luck in this year is by balancing your material with your spiritual. So it's important for you to not get too materialistic or even too spiritual. It's about finding that balance. Remember, 7, it's this completion. So you combine all of the areas, all of the spiritual areas, the material areas, and the worlds into one to be whole and complete. You may want to do some inner soul searching as well, because 7 likes solitude. So be sure to spend time with yourself and really dig deep to see what it is that you want, and maybe find areas where you need to do more development, more healing, or have more growth in your life. If your number is a 8, then this year is all about money and abundance. So it's great for growing money, for earning money, for working on your business. So you can expect money coming in, but you can also have money losses, and I'm going to tell you how to avoid that. So let's start with the positives and what you need to focus on. As I said, focus on your earnings, focus on how you can grow and earn new money. Now, with an 8, it's really important that you invest in yourself. You shouldn't be afraid to make a big purchase for either a product or, a app or whatever that's going to help you in your work and in your business, because 8 is all about giving and receiving, and this tandem is important to follow in your year 8, where you invest and make a big purchase, and then this big purchase and investment is then going to make you even more money. So it's all about that giving and then receiving and growing something much, much bigger out of it. Now, the things that you need to avoid is not repaying any debt, not sticking to your promises, because the number 8 is a karmic number. So if you do something bad and negative, then that will come back to you, and oftentimes it will translate into your money. You'll lose money. It's also important to follow the law and try to be attentive to any documentation and legal work. And it's also important to be fair with the government and be truthful. For example, it's important to officially mark yourself in your trade. It's important to pay taxes. And if you fail to do so, then you can expect bad luck, and specifically bad luck in your money sphere. If your number is a 9, then this is the year of culmination and detoxing. So the number 9 is all about letting go, and it's a very spiritual number. Now, notice how the year 2025 is also a 9 year, because 2 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. So you have this double task and double mission, and the much bigger accent of renewing yourself and letting go of the old. So it's really important to make sure you know exactly the bad habits, exactly the outdated things in your life. Maybe it's the job, maybe it's relationships, things also very important. And you know these, that you then make sure that you leave them behind. You need to cleanse yourself of things that are no longer serving you. And on a practical, simple level, you can start off by decluttering all of your things, your physical things, your clothes, etc. And of course, spiritually and psychologically, you can start to let go of bad habits, bad patterns that have been keeping you stuck at a lower level, at a lower vibration. And remember that the more you let go, then the more you will receive in the next year, which will be all about new things and this renewal, which will be the year number 1 for you. In this year, you can expect a lot of spiritual insights, and so really listen to yourself. You will need to focus on building that stable foundation within yourself, where you're not dependent on anything external, you're not dependent on your material possessions, and you are able to stay calm if anything was to be taken away from you, if anything was to leave your life. The other thing to bear in mind is that people and maybe jobs or any sort of situations may be coming out of your life, and it might be unexpected, but you need to understand that if this happens, then it's absolutely for the best. Because, like I said, this year is all about cleansing yourself and getting rid of things that are not meant to be in your life any longer for your highest good. This year is perfect for spiritual practices, for healing. So, if you want to nurture yourself this year specifically, then it would be good for you to do more of those, whether it's actually going to a therapist, a healer, yoga, journaling, any other spiritual practices that take your fancy will do you lots of good. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you're interested in getting a numerology or tarot reading, then you can find my services in the link in the description.